48. There's Walt. Hi, Walt. And and so we were interested in just trying to figure out which ones would grow under our conditions. And it turns out the ones that are recommended in the lower 48 are some of the best up here as well. And it's the double blooms, the great big double blooms. And people have tried. Some of the single blooms are absolutely stunning. But when people buy a single bloom, they expect to pay less because it doesn't have as many petals in it, even though it just takes the same amount to grow them. So most people, the growers, tend to stay away from the single blooms just because they don't get as much money for them.
Well, the ideal time to cut these is how many, at the point where they're just like a tight little ball?
They're not really tight. You have to see the true color. You have to know the true color of the flower. And once you see that true color, so it's a certain kind of pink or a certain white, as it opens up, you get, there's a covering over the flower buds called the calyx, and that's the green part here. That separates out, and then as soon as you see the petals on the inside that show the true color, like this one here, doesn't show the true color. It's still kind of greenish. That one's too tight, and it will take about 12 or 15 days for that one to open up, and florists don't want to wait that long. So this one's too far gone, and it's too soft, and it's too far gone, and it would not ship well at all. So on this plant, the closest one to being a good size is this one here, because you can see the true pink color, and it's a little bit soft on top.
And when will that be in full bloom? How many days?
Usually from this stage, putting them in a vase in a warm room, you're talking about 5 days. And so usually they're put into a cold room, and then they will open up. If you put them into a cold room and then allow them to open up, it's about 3 days to full bloom.
Now, is this full bloom here, what we're looking at? This one?
Yes, this one, the white one.
Yeah.
That's a variety called White Sands.
And that's about 5 inches across or so, right?
Oh, yeah. More than that, I bet.
Really? Yeah.
It's pretty good. That's a beautiful one. That's really that's one that I would encourage people to grow, because it has good long stems, good stiff stems for cut flower production, and it's also gorgeous.
Is this probably the best, or the ideal flower to be grown in Alaska?
Well, from the timing standpoint, it has everything going for it, and it's a very easy to grow. There's very few pests. That we have a couple of insects that we have to work on. In some areas, if you're near a birch forest, you get a lot of aphids on them, things like that. But I don't spray for anything. The biggest problem that we have is a disease called botrytis, and we really don't have a lot of that here, but I know some growers that do have problems with it. So it's a perennial. Once you plant them, they're good for at least 20 years. So you just have to add fertilizer and pull the weeds. And the biggest issue for Fairbanks is winter snow. They have to have snow cover, or you have to mulch them. Because if we get one of those winters where there's no snow, they're gone. They die. They're not hardy.